If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Anywhere on the planet, minute by minute, day by day, all of the time, all of the time, all of the time.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Neely Fuller's Counter-Racist Code Show on this day, which is the 24th of March, 2026. I am one of your co-hosts, Mr. Bobby, and with me is Professor Gate, and a topic that has been chosen today is survival techniques in the system of racism, a coded-based approach. So that's going to be the theme for today's topic this morning. Good morning, Professor Gate, and how are you this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Bobby, and good morning to the listening audience, and I'm still learning. I like that quote. That was one of Mr. Fuller's signature quotes. This man was 95 years old when he left us to join the ancestors, and up until that last breath, he was still learning. And that's an instructive phrase for all of us to continue learning. This show is about keeping the legacy of Mr. Fuller alive. We're not here to self-promote. We're not here to push an agenda. We're here to speak about Mr. Fuller, introduce him to those who may not have been familiar with him or his 3 books. He wrote 3 books. Wrote a book in 1984, his original code book. He wrote a word guide in 2010, and he wrote a revised expanded edition of his original book in 2016. And he did a podcast. 5 years ago, I was involved with the production of his podcast. Mr. Bobby was his co-host on Blog Talk, and before that, he was on Talktainment. So he left behind a wealth of information, his books, and I consider his videos, his podcast, an extension of the code. Mr. Fuller was an honorable man. He was always striving to be what he called a universal man. He was honest. He had integrity. He didn't lie. He didn't disrespect women. He didn't call people names. He didn't wish death upon people. He didn't go around starting wars. He was a honorable man. And he was a good example, unlike some of the other people we witness on a day-to-day basis. But he was humble about it. He didn't force anything on anybody, even in his books. He even left us with a called VGQ. If you don't like what I'm saying or if you don't agree, that's okay. Shouldn't be arguing with each other. All of us, the victims of this system, should not be engaged in fights and arguments. So today we're going to talk about, since as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Fuller was he was a model citizen in many ways, and how he navigated this system. So he left behind some words of wisdom on how we might navigate this system, how we might survive, because this is a pretty brutal system, whether you admit it or not. And all of us are here because of some type of survival instinct or some type of survival training. We're not always aware of how it came to be. So we're going to take some of Mr. Fuller's own words today, some clips we put together and talk about and try to weave together his instruction on how to survive in this system. I'm going to start out the conversation with one of his clips, what he called the 4 basic wants.
You know, you have that plan in your books, the 4 wants, on page 171, 172. Could you repeat that so that those who are new to the program will know exactly what we're talking about when we say the 4 wants?
Yes, you ask yourself, what do I want to do? Next question, why do I want to do what it is I think I want to do? Why do I want to do it? Number 3, how do I plan to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Big plan, small plan. If it's an almost insignificant plan, I mean, look at it that way. It's an insignificant plan, but it's something I want to do. And then number 4, what do you expect the constructive result to be? That includes everything from buying something or trading in that car you got because somebody you know down the street, they got one. They got rid of their car and got a new one. So it might be your car is serving you well, and so just because they got one, so what? If you stop and think about it. Well, it's shiny and new. Oh, that's the reason for you getting a new car that's going to cost $47,000? Think about it. That vehicle you got.
Yes, sir.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's running. It doesn't give you any problem. That's a gold mine right there. But think about what is going to be the constructive result. You're already behind in your bills. Don't do something just because you see somebody else doing it. Usually somebody that you know. Do something that fits you. You are somebody you're an individual. According to the code, there's nobody in the universe like you.
There's nobody in the universe like you. Mr. Fuller was giving us his take on the 4 wants. And we're talking today about Mr. Fuller, and we're talking about survival techniques. Meandering your way through this vicious system that seems to be everywhere. Mr. Fuller lived a model existence, but he also left behind some instructions on how to survive in this system. I'm going to jump right into the next clip, and thank you for staying tuned. We had a glitch a second ago. Now, Mr. Fuller did not make any, he had no illusions about the viciousness of this system. And really, about putting it quite frankly, he said a little bit of healthy fear might be a good survival strategy once you understand what these folks are willing to do to protect and maintain this system. Not fear in a paralyzing sense, but more as of an awareness and acceptance that you're dealing with somebody who's actually has no morals, no value of life. So let's listen to Mr. Fuller as he talked about how we deal with this, not going in our corners and covering, but understanding the type of people you're dealing with in this vicious system of racism.
Why is fear a tool for the white supremacists?
Okay, there you go.
Fear is a tool for anybody that want to mistreat somebody. That's the answer. You instill fear in the person. It's called motivation by fear. In other words, I'll make you fear me. in order to make you do what? Obey me. You're not going to obey somebody you don't feel one way or another. You don't want to. And it's real simple. I fear the white supremacists. Why? They can hurt me more than I can hurt them. A lot of black people got to learn that, particularly when they get pulled over. I mean, it's a shame. After all these lessons that we have had, when you're surrounded by people with guns, you say, I ain't scared of that. I ain't scared of no gun. I'm not either if I got control of the guns. I've been in control of a whole lot of guns. But when other people got control of guns, I have fear.
I know what Mr. Fuller is saying here. He's not saying be irrational. He's not saying walk around jumping at your shadow. He's dealing with some realities. He's saying they have the guns. They have more of them. They have bigger guns. So one thing we have to do is do this balancing act. And I'm going to get your take in a second, Mr. Bobby. I'm going to play this next clip, how Mr. Fuller talked about balancing this trying to dismantle this system while at the same time trying to protect yourself.
For us to just try to just protect ourselves and stay away and just try to be as codified as possible.
Both. That's a part of the code, protecting yourself and at the same time trying to erode in any way that you can, just like in any war. That's why it's in the war section. Counter war. We're against war. Like Martin Luther King said, we're against war, period. No more war. But you're going to have war as long as you got the system of white supremacy, because that is the supreme war. There's no war greater than that. The people who believe in racism, which is what white supremacy is, racism. Racism is white supremacy. White supremacy is racism. So what is racism? Dominating and mistreating people based on color. That's all it is. And the white supremacists spend full time thinking about better ways to do that. And so far, they have basically shown that they intend to do it forever.
They intend to do it forever. For those just tuning in, this is Mr. Fuller's Counter Racist Code Show with Mr. Bobby, and I'm Gate. And we're talking about behavior and survival techniques in this system based on some of the words that Mr. Fuller left behind. He was a pragmatist. He believed in reality, not these fanciful, idealistic approaches that might get you killed, might be confusing, might be non-constructive. And Mr. Fuller also said that's his opinion. That's not Mr. Bobby's opinion. That's not Gates' opinion. Those are his opinions. And you may feel differently. And he said that when he wrote his books. He said the book may not be for everybody. Now, do I sit here and say I believe everything Mr. Fuller or agree with everything he put in his book? Nope. I made that clear, but that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to debate it. I'm here to give my perspective from time to time. But for the most part, I'm here to bring to you the words, the thoughts, and keep Mr. Fuller's legacy alive, because as I stated earlier, I think he was an honorable man. And it's worthy of understanding that if we're going to survive in this system, sometimes you have to go to people, particularly somebody who survived for 95 years, as Mr. Fuller did. Mr. Bobby.
No, I was going to say that under the counter racist code, we have to understand that, and Mr. Fuller said this, that the counter racists are the smartest, or rather the racists are the smartest people in the world. And that is a statement that is hard to fathom. But when you think about it, everything that we see in this world is designed to support the system of racism, white supremacy in every area of people activity that Mr. Fuller has pointed out. And if you realistically think about it, it is designed to keep their system in place. No matter what you may come up with, they already have a design on how to keep us and to keep us imprisoned within our own self. That's why many things that we may come up with, they reject it because they're in a survival mode for that system to survive. Gate?
Thank you, Mr. Bobby. That's exactly right. Mr. Bobby, some people would ask Mr. Fuller from time to time, like, now, how do we get from one day to the next? Somebody comes along and disrespects you, call you a name, and somebody might go as nuclear as call you the N-word. And Mr. Fuller had spoke on this several times. He did not believe that you have to be cool and calm. In other words, matter of fact, don't let me let me just put Mr. Fuller's words up here.
Someone called me just the other day and said that he wasn't thinking. That's the first thing he told me. And he got an arrest record now because a driver of a car slipped up in some kind of way and used the N-word. And because he wasn't ready for that, he hit the person. He hit the person driving the car. The person immediately got on his phone, called the law enforcement people. He got arrested, and it all came out about how that came about. And they said, well, you can't assault somebody from calling you a name, so sorry about that. All right? And so he used the N-word, but he said he suddenly just lost his temper out of tradition. See, we lose our temper out of tradition. Suppose you didn't even know, you had never even heard the word. You wouldn't have had any reaction at all. See, but we have been trained to react to certain words. Now, why am I saying all this, talking about the book? The book is designed that we should know how to handle every situation that comes up in a way that no one will ever handle it better in 10 million years. That's what codification is supposed to be about. Every move that you make is supposed to be the best move that ever will be made. I said 10 million years, but I mean really infinity. It can't be better than that. That's the way black people should train ourselves to think. Now, that person has an arrest record now where he had no kind of record before. And an arrest record for assault is serious. You can be turned down for a whole bunch of jobs.
Yes.
All right? And he's kind of up in age. See what I mean? So you don't, hey, black people are known for our hot temper. Get mad about everything. Well, I don't even like the way you look at me. I'm mad. I got to do something about that. Where's my pistol? See, well, I can understand it, but they say, hey, the white supremacists say, you can always control those Negroes through their emotions. You can make them fire themselves on a job.
You can make them fire themselves on a job. Now, let me just give you my take on that. I've never been called that word. I'm sure some people have called me that under their breath, because I'm sure I've done quite a few things to trigger some of the most base possible reactions from certain people. But it's something I learned early on, is to control your emotion. You can't make the right decision when you're emotional. And that's just about every walk of life when you think about it. when you get up in the morning, you have to be in control of your emotions. And that was one of the pieces of advice Mr. Fuller left with us. We're talking about today survival strategies in this system. It's a vicious system. Many of us we're confronted on a daily basis with all types of aggressions. We're in a system, and it's not just the person calling you the N-word. We call that individual racism. But there's also institutional racism that's preventing you from advancing economically, politically, socially. And then there's systemic racism, where it's embedded into the fabric of this country and the world. Mr. Bobby.
Yes, it is definitely embedded in it. That's why we have to constantly understand, think about what we are involved in and how it is in every single area, because it is a survival strategy that they employ and use on us constantly, from the destroying of our books or to everything that would seem to elevate us. They have inroads in there and it is designed to keep us suppressed, whether it's voting or whether it's to ourselves. These are the tools that they have put upon us, and we use them even against each other, which is bad. This is why he has these books that you can get by going to producejustice.com to counteract what has been put upon us, made aware, and then to teach others of what is really going on. Marvin Gaye said, what's going on? Now you know what's going on. Mr. Gate?
Hey, what's going on? Go ahead, Marvin. Mr. Fuller wasn't a pacifist. He wasn't some malleable person who's sitting around worrying about what some racist might do to him. Now, people take different approaches on how they're going to address this system, how they're going to survive in it, how they're going to help to dismantle it, how they're going to help others. Mr. Fuller's approach was to speak about it, write books about it. He developed a very loyal following of people. So today we're talking about, and I'm telling you why I bring this up now. We're in a time right now where I would say, we say this every so often, but I think it's true, particularly like no other. We see full-blown, unadulterated, raw racism from the top to the bottom in every area of activity. Mr. Fuller laid out the 9 areas of activity. So knowing that is one thing, but what are you going to do? I mean, you're here. You have families, you have careers, you have businesses. You got to get from one day to the next. Mr. Fuller said the races operate on a code. It's intentional. It's not coincidental that certain things happen the way they do. It was planned. It's codified. It's codified in the law. It's codified into your religion. It's codified into politics. It's codified into the education system, the economics, entertainment, politics, sex, and war. It's all codified. Go ahead, Mr. Bobby.
Yeah, Sat 7 mentioned that former U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee attempted to pass a law against white supremacy, but was put down. See, we have people fighting in the system, but she was put down because they don't want to acknowledge it. They do not want to deal with it. Everything that you are saying, Gate, is true. They have mechanisms in place to make sure that it is put down. And what do? You keep on fighting anyway. And it is difficult the mindset. And again, this is why Fuller put it in writing so that we could see not some audio books that can be manipulated, but his words. That's why we implore you to get the book by going to producejustice.com and then reading the book and then rereading it so that you can be aware of the many tactics that they use in every single area of people activity. Gate?
Thank you, Mr. Bobby. And what I like about, I was, like I said, I was an engineer for Mr. Fuller and the producer of his show for the last 5 years of his life. And one thing I observed is that the people that tune in to Mr. Fuller, some sharp folks. You don't have to baby them. You don't have to sit there and explain certain things because they get it. They know we can't go out here and outgun, outspin, outvote, or do anything more than they do because they really basically have the power. But what we can do, we can build alliances. We can vote on our interests. And yes, Mr. Fuller did believe in voting. So do I. Because he said a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing.
That's right.
Some people just out here talking and beating drums and thumping their chests and just being walked over. Mr. Fuller said this also, and I have a clip on that some people, if you're in the prison yard, the problem with some people, they don't realize they're in the prison yard. They're so busy claiming to be this strong, independent person, they don't realize that the system really has its foot on your neck. And you have to be smart. You have to be strategic. You have to be codified.
Yeah.
And that's the point that Mr. Fuller has been trying to make. Go ahead, Mr. Bobby.
Yeah, quickly, Gate, and then go back to your point. Somebody wanted to know what is the StreamYard link, and it is StreamYard.com.
Mr. Fuller, I just dropped it in the feed. So
okay.
We can just grab. I think Elijah is hanging in the green room, so he was the one who dropped the link.
Oh, okay. Well, then go ahead. Then.
Thank you. So that's what we're talking about today. That Mr. Fuller he wanted us to survive. He wanted us to be around for generations, but he understood that in order to do that, there are certain ways to go about it. He gave us his ways. My ways may be different. I may agree on some things. I may not agree on others. I do believe that I try not to embrace the word fear. I like to use the word awareness instead, because sometimes fear can be paralyzing. And so I'm very mindful of the words. I really don't fear the racists, but I do understand what Mr. Fuller was saying.
Right.
That you have to be aware and understand the power they have to take you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You can be brave, but you got to be smart too. I'm going to go one more video, then I'm going to bring in Elijah. So hang on there, Elijah. Now, Mr. Fuller was also, he spoke about basically certain codes of conduct and how you can waste your time, you can be distracted in so many ways that you can be confused, non-constructive. He talked about how, let me just get on to this next topic here, get Mr. Fuller's exact words. Got a few people hanging on. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump to this one about health. So hang on a second. This is Mr. Fuller talking about you have to take care of yourself. So hang on a second. We have a few people hanging on, so we're going to get to you. So I'm just going to pop up this quick, short. Mr. Fuller talked about how he takes care of himself and how we should take care of you can't do anything. You're not going to survive anything if you're not taking care of yourself physically.
you don't have health. Everything else that you're talking about is down the drain anyway. You have to start watching what your body is like. Look at your body. Is it the way that it ought to be? Look at how your body feels. Look at what your body can do and can't do. And if the answer is no, that it can't do things it's supposed to be doing, first thing you need to do is check out the food that you put in it.
What you put in that body. I'll tell you, boy, since I've been a follower and listener to Mr. Fuller, I must admit, I remember he did a show and he was talking about the kind of foods he avoided. He didn't eat a lot of sweets, drank water, he exercised. He really right up into his final days. So Mr. Fuller, like I said, he set a good example, but he didn't just live it. He also talked about it. He wrote about it, and he tried to get us to get on code. I'm going to bring up Elijah, put him on the stage. I'm also going to get Zaire. Elijah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yes, sir. I'm sitting here as usual, enjoying you two beautiful black brothers.
Thank you, brother.
Get down with the get down and trying to help y'all. I see y'all trying to help everybody out. And Brother Fuller, see, there's wisdom about leadership. And the wisdom of leadership is this. When you, a leader is not interested in having his way. A leader is interested in finding the best way. And so Brother Fuller didn't come from his own ego. He didn't come from his own intellect even. He didn't use his way. He, like the famous Frank Sinatra song, "I Did It My Way." He didn't do it his way. He did it God's way.
Yeah.
And that's what the professor is saying. He used knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's the way of God. Because the Bible says that the meek shall inherit the earth.
Yes.
And the professor used wisdom and said, hey man, you got to survive this system, because we have Emmett Till in our history. You know, we got Martin Luther King, we got Malcolm X, we got Medgar Evers, and these people will take you out at any second and chop your body up. And what people need to do is look up. There's a law on the books. They had a law on the books, and it's still on the books. It's called the casual KILL law, and that law says a white person can delete a black person anytime, any moment, any day, any second, just because they feel like it. And good brother Bobby talked about the system of white terrorism. See, we have to upgrade. Brother Fuller gave us a great head start, and we have to build an upgrade on what he gave us. And we have to upgrade we can't say white supremacists, because whites aren't supreme in nothing. And so we have to rename it white terrorism. And the brother Bobby was talking about this. They have a system. What makes them successful is it's not individual racism, it's a system of racism in place.
Yeah.
And
you said something that has been a point of discussion, and it's one that, like I said, as much as I follow Mr. Fuller and respect him, that's a word I tend to shy away from, the supremacy term.
Right.
And I've been torn about it. I've been torn about it. I'll use the word racism. I will use nationalism. I'll use privilege and a few other terms. Every now and then just for the context of the show, I might say white supremacy, but
Right.
I say there's nothing supreme about him.
Exactly.
But I understand the content and the context of what he's trying to say when he coined the phrase. He said, call it what it is. And he was very adamant about it. But he also, Brother Elijah, he said, we shouldn't be arguing about, be sitting there arguing about the window dressing when the ship is going down. We have bigger fish to fry.
Right. No, I'm not arguing or starting an argument.
No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. You're right.
Let me get hang on there, Elijah. Don't go away. Let me get Zaire in here.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, brother.
Hi.
Zaire?
I'm actually a female. But,
hey, welcome, sister.
Sorry, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Thank you. I'm sorry to mispronounce you.
Oh, no, it's fine. I have a unisex name.
Okay.
I have a unisex name. It's fine. But one of my favorite quotes by Neely Fuller Jr. is, if you don't understand white supremacy, you don't understand anything at all. And in order for a person to be completely sound, you have to be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally put together. But in order to understand all of those 4 qualities, you have to know where you come from and where you stand on a totem pole. Because white supremacy has done a great job of reconstructing the way we believe in ourselves, the way we understand our history. So first you have to get an understanding of self. And when you're inside a prison system, as Neely Fuller refers to a lot, you can work your way out of it, but you become a part of it. Even if you study the prison system, you see people join gangs. No one really survives on their own. And as you can see, when we had certain leaders that came into leadership, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King's, they were all infiltrated and brought down, assassinated by people within their own gangs or their own tribes due to the fact of the disparity of the people, because they didn't completely understand the construct of what they were in.
Yeah, she's right about that.
Neely Fuller was trying to unify us and galvanize a strength with us put together of a collective understanding. And unless we utilize that collective understanding, we're going to continue to be brought down. We're going to continue to be separated, divided, and conquered.
Yes, she's right.
I believe Neely Fuller has done a great job of trying to educate the masses on the system that we're in. And if you don't understand it, you'll continue to get misconstrued. You'll continue to try to find your way out of a system that you're already trapped inside of. In order to get out of it, first you must galvanize a strength, just like within a human body with the antibodies. No one antibody defeats the sickness. They come together, they unify, and they push that sickness out. And that's the same thing I think Black people need to do.
Right. And when the sister was using the roll call of leaders, our leaders that have been assassinated, and one of the people was Marcus Garvey. The system couldn't do nothing with him, so they expelled him as he tried to unite. I forgot the name of the United something. Somebody could get that.
United Negro Improvement Association.
That's it. But they expelled him from the country. But he
deported him.
Yeah, deported him. Well, anyway, they kicked him out. Yeah, they kicked him out.
Yes, sir.
And modern day, we have that with Gaddafi, where he was trying to change the currency of Africa to gold. And as soon as they had gotten intel about that, it was over for him. And he was assassinated. So you see time and time again, they reorganize the same amount. They do use the same tricks and the same traits. And they're able to utilize the same tricks and the same traits because the people haven't awakened to the issue at hand, the source of the issue, which is white supremacy. They're everywhere else, confused by everything else, because that's what that's what they want the masses to be.
Right.
Tell it, sister. Tell it.
I want to give a quick shout out to my dad, Terrence Martin, because he introduced me to Neely Fuller Jr. He studied under him. And it was a pleasure to understand his understanding of the way things.
Your dad too. Yes.
Yeah, he's a regular visitor to the show, and he's keeping it in the family. Right on.
He is.
Oh yeah, he introduced this show to me as well, so I'm glad to know you guys know him as well.
Way to go, Terrence.
Well, you pass it on. I want you to help spread the word to the young people so we can get them tuned in, because I do feel like sometimes that this younger generation, sometimes they are adrift. They're looking for not necessarily a leader to follow, information, something that's grounded, something that, like I said, Mr. Fuller left behind a code book, because it can be confusing. There's all these distractions out here. There's all this non-constructive activity, and you're operating in a system that would really rather you not be here.
But
so
that brings us all back to the source that they confuse the masses on purpose. Like what they're doing with my generation, because I'm in my early 30s, is they're pushing out so much information, and they're pushing out distorted information that people don't know what they're consuming. So they get started on a path, and then they wind up in a rabbit hole like Alice Wonderland, because they want us to be confused. They want us to put truth with fiction, mix it together, and then try to find a solution, which is complete chaos. And they do that on purpose so that no one knows what's going on, because there are a lot of people in my generation who want to figure out the truth. It's just they're mixing truth with fiction.
That's right.
And that's where we need to step in and talk to our elders, where the elders know their truths and the things, their standards and rules and regulations, and share that with the youth, so we can come up with a collective understanding and share from both parts what we're experiencing just as well as you all experienced.
They're trying where they're successful is they're keeping us in the matrix. Has everybody seen the movie Matrix?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they live.
Yeah, and they live. And Terminator, you know, the black female Sophia Stewart wrote The Matrix and the Terminator. And a lot of people don't know that. And Hollywood tried to steal it from her, and she filed a lawsuit. And some people said she won the lawsuit with the #1 settlement in history of $5 billion. And see, there's like Brother Professor just said, racism and white terrorism, because they're not supreme in a damn thing. Racism and white terrorism is what? A system.
A system, yes.
And here's the key point right here. To beat a system, it takes a system to beat a system.
That's right.
Right on, brother. Right on. Say it.
Black folks think an individual is going to beat a system. Black folks think a belief is going to beat a system. Black folks think an opinion is going to beat a system. None of those little bitty small things is going to whip a system.
Yeah. Let me say this. This is precisely why Gate and myself and a few others have emphasized that you become part of this program, because you brothers and sisters, you just laid some things on me that I didn't know, particularly about the Matrix. I didn't know a black woman had done that. See, this is why we need each other to help support each other, to strengthen, as you just mentioned, this system, to overcome it, to dismantle the system of somebody referred to as European supremacy. And that's what they did. They came over here and installed this system and changed everything else to make it look like it originated from them. Right. And if you don't believe that, the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible tells you about things that happened, about the 22 books that were omitted from the system so that we would operate in confusion under what Constantinople, no, that's a city, but under the Bishop Constantine, introducing the Roman Catholic idea of that. It's crazy. Right. That's the way that it was. That's the truth. And many of us do not know about that because we've been indoctrinated into their system.
Right.
Somebody,
I think it starts with when they stripped us from our understanding of our Creator, and then after that, like it breaks down to like their understanding of where a man's place is and where a woman's place is. And once we got disconnected from our Creator and disconnected with the understanding of each other, that was the breakdown of the understanding of our people. Like the woman has to learn to respect that man's peace and respect the man's place and the struggle he's been through separately from her. It's also a conjoint struggle, but we both deal with our individual struggles as well. And until the woman and the man respect each other's place and the brutality that they've witnessed and they've gone through, and then first connect to the Creator and then understand each other, then we can build out of it. But when the woman's trying to take the man's place, the man's trying to take the woman's place, and nobody understands God, that's chaos.
Well, you lose your gender.
You said the right word. Disconnected. We need to make that connection here. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, the scientific equation for what Sister Zaire was revelating on is self-ignorance leads to self-hatred, which leads to self-destruction. Self-ignorance leads to self-hatred, which leads to self-destruction. And when you have that, that's the formula and equation that they're using on us. And when you have that, then the two social scientists, Nathan and Julia Hare, who grew up down the street from Neely Fuller. Neely grew up in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
That's right.
Nathan and Julia Hare grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And in their book, Unisexualization and the Coming Extinction of the Black Race, they said norms and values become confused and chaotic. And that's what Sister Zaire was talking about. And see, when you have knowledge of self, when you know yourself, you know everything. But when you don't know yourself, you become a tool, mule, food, footstool, and toilet stool for white folks to rule. And when you don't know yourself, like she said, when you know yourself, when you don't know yourself, then the European can control your mind. But when you know yourself, you know that Europeans are really Europeans. They're peons. They become small.
Brother Elijah, you're
Yes,
got me some nuggets today. What we're going to do, we're going to wrap things up here in a second. Thank you to my two guests today. I'm going to give Zaire a closing statement, and we're going to go ahead and drop one more clip today on Mr. Fuller, on how he really talked about Black women. He talked about how they should be protected and respected. So I'm going to let, and when Zaire came on, it reminded me of this last clip on how we should really treasure our sisters and protect them and value them. So go ahead, Zaire. Go ahead. I'm going to let you get the last word before we go to our last clip.
I can 100% agree with that because I was raised by my mother. She was a homemaker, and a lot of my knowledge and values and ethics came from her as well. And women are the teachers, the first teachers, the nurturers of all Black children, women and men. And unless they get that core foundation of who they are, what they connect to, their source, even if it's like suckling their mother, and then she continues to expound upon her knowledge of self, that creates a well-rounded individual. And if women aren't protected and we feel as if we're vulnerable to everything, that leads to the breakdown of the woman. Then she's crazy, then she's snapping out, then, and it takes the woman out of the home too. The men are already out of the home. They are everywhere. They've done such a big deal on men that women are the safe ground, or not necessarily safe ground, but the closest connection to the children, the next generation. And we need the next generation to expound upon our knowledge. So unless the Black woman is catered to and comforted and protected, we lose that next generation. And they know that. That's why they attack us separately, divide and conquer. Let's conquer the men first and then try to conquer the women, then we have the children. And they said back in the day that who you allow to feed you, teach you, and comfort you controls you.
Thank you, Zaire. Thank you, Elijah.
Let me say one more thing, brother.
Go ahead,
Elijah. Everybody, let's refer to our brother Carter Goodwill Woodson.
Okay.
And let me quote him right quick. When you control a man's, he wrote the book in 1933, Miseducation of the Negro, Miseducation of the Negro, Miseducation of the Negro. He said in that book, when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You no longer have to tell him to go to the back door. In fact, if there is no back door, his miseducation will make him go and build one.
That's right.
And see, like we said earlier, white terrorism is a system, and it's a global system now, like Brother Neely Fuller said. And how do we know it's global? because it's being practiced in Iran as we speak right now, at this very second. And in order to defeat a system, you have to have a system. And praise God for these two beautiful brothers that are setting up this study group online for us. And what would be good for you brothers to do is, Neely Fuller mentioned the system of white terrorism. That system he was referring to, y'all know about Willie Lynch, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do some Willie Lynch excerpts in your show. It'll be good for this great show to refer to Willie Lynch, because brother Neely Fuller was referring to, there's a lot of parallelisms and a lot of equalisms going directly, a lot of links going directly to and from the Willie Lynch system of white terrorism that will help underscore a lot of what our brother Neely Fuller was warning us about and making us overcome.
Okay.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Right on. Mr. Bobby, final words. Well, we're gonna go to this final clip.
Okay. Final words. Brother Elijah, you said
Yes,
something
sir.
that I always take notes. You said something about a tool full and a toilet stool. What was that? Could you repeat that?
When you know, knowledge of self is the key. Knowledge of self is the key. When you know yourself, you know everything. But when you don't know yourself, you become a tool, mule, fool, footstool, and toilet stool for white folks to rule.
Okay.
Or for your enemy to rule.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Yes, sir. Tool, mule, fool, footstool, and toilet stool for your enemy and white folks to rule.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
And if I could add to that, I will also say know that opponent as well. Like the art of war. Like you have to know what you're up against in order to conquer it. If you go into the war with a mind and a love of a dove, you're going to be taken down because you were too vulnerable to your opposition. But if you match the same energy, but not with the same type of brutality, you mastermind it, then you can defeat that enemy. You have to know who you're up against as well.
Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
Art of War, that's right.
Yes.
And remember, he said, weak warriors go to battle and hope to win. Strong warriors win and then go to battle. Meaning you gotta have a plan and a system in place, like what we're talking about right here.
Starts in the mind.
Yes, sir.
All right, sisters and brothers, appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to tune in next week, and feel free to join us at any time. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Yes.
Folks,
thank you, brother.
Thank you for having
brother
me.
Elijah. Really appreciate having them this morning. I'm going to go out on this last video, and then we're going to just come back and say our farewells for the day. So hang on a second.
While we are talking right now, some black male is in the holding cell getting in touch with my grandma, getting in touch with my mama. He said nothing about that dad, because the dad is in there with him. How about that? So don't ever say anything under any circumstance that's considered to be a put down of black females. I don't care what they're doing, because they have protected you from extinction. Ain't no buffering between a black male and the white supremacists, other than the black female.
Mr. Fuller said the black female, black woman, has been the buffer between basically the black man's extinction. That's pretty powerful. Basically saying that having the strong, supportive sisters has really been a one of the major components of our survival. We're talking about survival today. We're talking about Mr. Fuller he laid down some blueprints on how to survive in this system. So I'm going to throw out a call to action today, end on this note. Reconnect. There's been an all-out war trying to divide the brothers and the sisters, the men and the women, male, female, whatever you want to call it. As part of our survival techniques, we have to fight that effort. We have to reconnect with our sisters. They are not your enemy, I'm telling you. There's all these false narratives out here about how Black men have abandoned Black women, or Black women are ratchet and this and that and the other. That's all designed. Strategy. Fight this disinformation. Fight this hypocrisy. Fight these lies. I started the program by speaking about Mr. Fuller and how motivation, understanding, responsibility drives behavior. So how we relate to each other is going to be a big part of how we survive in this system. And the day we start respecting and acknowledging and loving and embracing each other, that's the day we write our own ticket to destruction. Final word, Mr. Bobby.
Yes, producejustice.com.
All right, so we'll be back next week, and we invite you to join, come back on the show and join us. We'll put the link there. And we had a very engaging discussion today with two very, very bright, sharp, intentional people who understand the system we're in, and they voice their opinions. Mr. Fuller gave us the acronym VGQ. You don't have to agree with me, Mr. Bobby, Zaire, Elijah, or anyone that comes on this show. We're having a discussion. We're working it out. There are some formidable forces at work. We need a strategy. We need a code. And Mr. Fuller has, from what I can understand, come closest as about anyone to laying down who has an understanding of this system and how to survive in it. So on that note, we'll see you next week. This is Neely Fuller's Counter-Racist Code with Mr. Bobby and Gate. See you next week.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Anywhere on the planet, minute by minute, day by day, all of the time.